My Grandpa's Stroke. Chapter 1, Visa and Family. Nana, come on, we are already late. Coming, Mom. Hi, my name is Nana. I live in Bangkok, Thailand. The site I live in is on Route 46. I have brown eyes and brown hair. My skin color is tan and my real name is Alina. So this is how the story begins. Let me take you back to June 23, 2014 when it all starts. I was going to Austria with my grandpa Chan, who has black hair and black eyes. My grandma, who has black curly hair, was also going too. My dad and mom were also going to Austria also. My mom has brown eyes and my dad has soft black hair. My uncle Green is also going too, but he does not have green hair. We went to do our visa in the morning. When we came to the embassy, I thought it looked very old. The building was gray and black, and the windows looked as if there were no glasses in them. When I went in, I saw many people waiting in line. 1 hour went by, and it was my turn. The person who asked me questions was a beautiful young lady. She asked me about where I come from, how old I am, what year I was born, and then, "It is done," she said. We went back home in a white space car. Our home has 3 floors and is the biggest home in the soil. Chapter 2, The Mistress Call. In the evening, while my parents were talking about the house in Perfect Place where we were about to move in, ring! My dad's phone rang. It was my grandma. She sounded very shocked, like she just had a heart attack. She said, "I don't know what happened, but when Nana's grandpa was in the kitchen, he just fell over." Luckily, our house was near my grandparents' house where they were staying, so my mom and dad drove over to see what happened. After a minute or two, I thought my parents were gonna come back, but then after half an hour, they didn't. I thought to myself, my dad works as a lawyer at the hospital, so maybe if my grandpa's sick, he won't have to pay a lot. Then a bad thought hit me. If my grandpa is sick, then we cannot go to Austria anymore. Oh no! Austria was my favorite place. I always wanted to go to Austria. Now I felt a bit sad. Then my sadness turned to frustration. Then my frustration turned to anger. I don't think I could go to Austria anymore. Even if my grandpa becomes better, we still can't go because he needs some rest. And who will take care of him? Of course my grandma can stay to take care of him, but what if she falls into a stroke? And it will be too much work for her too. Chapter 3, The Answer. Then at 1 a.m. in the morning, my parents finally came back. It was still very dark in the morning. They didn't have any dinner yet. Then they said that the traffic was not bad, but then the doctor asked them many questions. My parents could answer all the questions except for what kind of medicine my grandpa eats. A month after that, I went to the hospital to visit my grandpa. My grandpa was at walking lessons, so I had to wait for a while, and suddenly I blasted out, "Are we going to Austria?" And I knew it. My mom answered that we were not going to Austria anymore. I nearly burst into tears. Not going to Austria? Can't they see how much I want to go to Austria? Well, I didn't cry. Chapter 4, The Meat. There was a knock on the door. "Come in," my grandma said. Then I saw my grandpa. He was wearing some sort of bandage wrap around his head. I whispered to my mom, "What happened to my grandpa's head?" "Well," my mom explained, "the doctor had to put a tube in my grandpa's head, and so the doctor had to cut my grandpa's hair." I was forced to go see my grandpa, and I found myself hugging my grandpa. "Grandpa, would you like to see a movie?" Those were the first words that burst out of my mouth. "We not." "What is we not?" "Your grandpa cannot speak properly yet," my dad answered. 4 hours and 32 minutes passed by, and it was time for me to go home. I said goodbye to my grandpa. During the next 2 months, I came to see my grandpa every day after my Thai lessons. Sometimes my grandpa's brothers and sisters were there, and sometimes he had no company at all. Then one Sunday night, my dad said to me that tomorrow my grandpa would come out of the hospital. "That's good news," I said. We were all happy.
Created using Powtoon.